All right. Let's get started then. Hello everyone. Welcome to the final meeting of Spring 2021 for Adapted Toys for Children. We got what'll probably be a pretty quick meeting today. It's probably not going to fill up the whole hour, but I do have a lot of information to go through on what we did this semester and what we will be doing next semester, hopefully. A lot of this information is going off of the assumption that we will hopefully be back in person next semester, knock on wood, hoping everything goes well, so that we can get back to the way things used to be, if not better, with our toy output and just a lot of other really cool new things. So we're going to be going over some pretty quick things, just a summary of what we've accomplished this semester and a lot of our plans for next semester. So what we did last semester or this semester, I'm not going to bore everyone again with how we kind of went from in person to online and how we had to change everything up with that, because a lot of you already know that story. But we had a lot of new things this semester too, such as like some more development on the button project, as well as the learning sessions that kind of help facilitate a good amount of like what our work ended up being. So I kind of want to highlight all the groups here right now. We got 5 toys completed this semester alone. The beep bell right there was thanks to the instructions group from last semester. I think we did some pretty great work with completing the instructions there. Sent them off to Amy, the mom in Pennsylvania this semester. And I think that's probably one of our more complex toys that we've adapted. So amazing work there. I'm very proud of what we were able to do. The instructions group for this semester is almost done with, or I don't want to say almost done, but like definitely making some solid progress on the Bumble machine. You guys are doing really amazing work there, and you guys did a great job at choosing a very simple toy that's easy to adapt, but still like has all the same features that we want out of a toy like that. And of course, the button project, you guys were amazing with your progress this semester in terms of like we had a new prototype out like every week for going strong for like a couple months early on. You guys did really great work there. The button, for those of you who don't know, is pretty much done, or not pretty much, well, yeah, pretty much done. We're just having it tested for endurance at the moment, or hopefully in the coming weeks. We were able to have that out at our tabling event where a few kids just kind of came up and started wailing on it, and it held up to that kind of thing. So that's hopefully what the worst of it'll be, but we're still going to test it, see kind of what the max force this thing can handle. We're going to pull on it, push on it, and see what causes it to break, and if there's anything that we need to be concerned about. But other than that, it's looking really good. You guys did really amazing work this semester, and I'm very, very, very proud of the groups that we had going this semester. And a few other toys are nearly complete. Some of the toys that we got turned in last week have instructions written from the people who turned them in, and a few other people just have ideas on what they want to do but couldn't do because we didn't really have the tools to give it to them. Um, but yeah, stuff like that. So a few more toys are on the way. Hopefully we can get those done early next semester. Our tabling event, our main events of the entire year pretty much, went very well. We strengthened our connections with Rise, and the honors committee raised over $300. That's $200 cash and at least $70, I know for sure, donated online. So I'm gonna round up and hope that's over 300. It should be, because there's a good amount of money that we haven't gotten accounted for just yet through the system. And over a dozen students interested in the club without the need for a Be Involved fair. So that's pretty cool. And we're hopefully going to strengthen our connections with Rise in the future through hopefully another event. I don't want to promise anything yet, but we're hoping that to have something together with like maybe a visit to another location with them at some point. But I'll let you guys know if we get anything more on that from them. We made a lot of really cool connections this semester, such as Jasmine McGeskey, who's been a great asset to reviewing our work, giving us advice. She gave that really great presentation earlier this semester. And some parents of the officers this year, like Kylie and Joe's parents, they gave some great presentations. Christy Gull, we're still working with her to fix up one of the toys that was broken on her end, but she sent to us to fix up. So we're hoping to have that done next semester when we start working on it. And the lamp project, which John, I believe, is working on right now. John, do you think you could explain what the lamp project is? Because like I have a hard time putting it into words, like what the cover exactly is.
Yeah, I gotcha. So basically, on the LAMP app, there are a bunch of buttons that children with low speech abilities can press. And one of the issues is that the buttons are right next to each other. So if they're not the best at pressing the individual buttons, they could kind of like hit two of them at once. And there are a few issues caused by that. And overall, the point of the cover is just to like separate the different button areas so they're not like accidentally pressing more than one button at once, and it's making it easier for them to differentiate each button area and easier to press. Right now the project's actually I'm finished with the design, and Christy sent me over a picture of the like app on the iPad so I can use that to make like the individual model like squares for each button. I haven't really had time with finals and everything going on right now, but I'm planning on sending her one this summer to see what she thinks of it and to see how well it fits into the iPad. And then after that, as far as I can tell, she has some other people. I'm not sure if they're at her school or at a different school, but they would be interested in having the same thing made for them.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That was a really great thing that we're just kind of like mentioned in passing during her presentation. And I'm really glad you got somewhere with that. That's a really great adaptation to work into what they have going on. So yeah, awesome work there. Hopefully we'll see something coming out of that pretty soon. But yeah, that's just kind of what we did this semester. I think it's been a very productive semester for a club that's been pretty much exclusively online. So great work, guys. And yeah, so now we'll get into some hopefully fun stuff. So what we're doing next semester, the officers and I have been discussing a bit over what's going to translate into next semester, because a lot of stuff was born into this semester because we were in online, such as groups and stuff like that. I'll talk about more about that later. So how's it going to translate in person? Well, we'll start off with groups. So the instructions group was something that was completely born out of the need for members who are at a distance to be able to do something for the club. It was also just a good thing to have for parents who were interested, such as the mom in Pennsylvania, who we were working with. So this is something that we're going to hopefully just kind of jump back into in a sense next semester, because we still have to finish the instructions for the bubble machine. And since we'll have the toy actually with us to actually solder and everything next semester, because Madison will be coming back, we'll be able to hopefully get that done pretty quickly. And in terms of instructions themselves, we're hopefully planning to make this kind of more like a general thing as part of the toy adapting process. If you have like a very common toy or like something that we think another parent could find useful, we might say like, hey, could you please document your process and actually write down the steps and or maybe just write the instructions yourselves. But we just kind of would like to know hopefully what you're doing so we can write that down and translate it into the format for instructions. It would be good for our website. It would be good for parents who want to do this sort of thing on their own. And yeah, we're just kind of hoping that this is how that kind of work can get translated into our standard toy adapting. And I do want to mention here, nothing is set in stone, by the way. The instructions could become a bigger component. They could become their own separate thing, or they just might kind of phase out. We're not entirely sure yet. And that kind of goes into a lot of what I'm going to say about these other groups. A lot of this is still tentative depending on where we're based next semester, what we're able to do when we're in person. But yeah, so it's just that my internet connection was unstable. So I'm moving on to group 2. If you guys don't see that or can't hear me or anything, just let me know. Just interrupt me. But yeah, so group 2, the hands-on toy adapting group, this is more or less our standard work. It's what we did when we started the club. It's what we did before the pandemic. It's what we did during the pandemic. So this is going to most more or less be the bulk of our work. It's in our name. And we're just going to continue on adapting toys as normal. But there are a lot of pros to being in person, believe it or not. When you're adapting a toy and you have a question, we'll be right there with you to hopefully help you out and get that question answered as quickly as possible, as opposed to waiting to the next meeting or something like that. We won't be taking toys home though. I do want to mention that. That is something that we don't normally do, and but we will probably just be keeping those two in-person meetings. But we'll see how that works out. And if a toy becomes too complicated, if you're not entirely sure what to do with it, that's fine. We can move on. We can just have you move on to another toy and save that toy for someone else. Or if you ever want to come back to it. So that kind of helps, because I know everyone kind of went home with one toy this semester, and some people had issues with their toy, but we don't want that to stall you for the entire semester. If you can't figure it out, you can just move on to something else, and that's totally fine. The entire process could potentially be completed in a few hours if you know what you're doing. We had a few toys done before the pandemic that were done in like a couple sittings, and that was like, they were pretty standard toys, but that's just kind of like an example of how quick this can go if you know what you're doing and it's a simple enough toy. And on top of that, tools will be available. So like you could take as long as you want, but we'll have all the tools with you, with us, soldering irons, wire strippers, everything we need to get the full process done, hopefully, barring that there's like no 3D printed parts we need to make or anything like that. But if it's just straight up working with the toys and rewiring some stuff, that can all be done in a couple meetings, hopefully with the right tools and stuff like that. So that's like not to put any pressure on anyone to get this done at a specific speed, but just something I wanted to bring up, and hopefully how this will go a lot better once we're back in person. And then the button project, pretty simple because you guys have been acting pretty independently on your own this semester. That's something I can translate over pretty well into in-person meetings. You guys can probably just go on into your own group. Those who want to work on stuff like 3D printing and CAD work are free to work on that project. I know you guys had a few more complicated button designs you maybe want to try, maybe some button boards with like, which is basically just like a switchboard with like multiple things that can connect to a toy all at once with multiple buttons to access multiple features. Just something a bit simpler to hook up from my understanding. But yeah, this group has been working really well on its own so far, and I figure that could be something that can maybe translate into whoever wants to continue working on it next semester. But that one's pretty straightforward. And now we're going to get into hopefully some potential projects. So I mentioned earlier this semester, Go Baby Go, basically just adapting drivable toy cars to serve as mobility devices. And this is something that's done around the country by a bunch of different groups. We've come across two completely isolated groups, both named Go Baby Go. There's a million different names for this type of thing though, so we would just kind of be translating that work into what we do, because I know some members have been wanting to do some things that are kind of bigger and better in a way. And this is kind of that, with buying separate materials, such as the PVC pipe to hold people in place, the screws to keep it in place, the foam tubing, all that kind of stuff could prove to be a bit more of a sturdier adaptation in a sense. So there's a lot that can go into this. Currently, the unknowns that are holding us back, these wouldn't normally hold us back with a toy adaptation. It's just the amount of money and investment that would go into this. That's kind of making us like say, hey, let's figure this out before we do anything. Is who's getting it? That's the main thing, which is like, if no one's gonna be playing with this toy, why are we making it? So we need to make sure that there's a specific family, or if Glass will take it, because it's a pretty big toy. We don't just want to like give it away willy-nilly. We want to make sure that someone's actually going to use it. So we're going to hopefully reach out to some different people over the summer and figure out who will be getting it and how we'll be moving it. Maybe we'll fit on the cart, or maybe we'll drive it. I don't know. I figured this could be just kind of like a fun thing to have around the club or something like that. I don't know. I just mentioned fun. But that's the Go Baby Go project. Hopefully a new 4th project to have up in the group for next semester, or whoever wants to work on it. I know there was some pretty good interest for it on the forum. Similarly, on the Google form I sent out over the weekend, I know a good amount of you have been mentioning, like ever since the club started, is like, hey, do you guys make your own toys? Technically, no, we don't. There's a lot that goes into something like that. But for those of you who want to create something completely new from scratch, or those who might not have the technical skills or need to work on some more wiring related toys, it's just something simple like this, which is a sensory toy. This could tap into a bunch of different types of potential for kids' engagement. I stole this slide from Rachel French over at Glass, a presentation that she gave us last semester. This is something that we hope to work on next semester as kind of like maybe a newer thing depending on interest. But yeah, basically what you see here is a large PVC pipe array with a bunch of different sensory toys, like things that rattle, things that make noise when you move them and stuff like that. So kids would just kind of lie down and play with them, pressing them. There's a lot of different variations for toys like this. We might want to go with something more complex depending on who works on it next semester. But this was just something like a kind of baseline I wanted to get you guys all thinking about for those who are interested. It would be simple materials to acquire and a lot of different research and that can go into it just to kind of, find out some fun stuff to buy to put on this toy because it could be modular and kind of just swapping out a bunch of different toys for different experiences. So those are the 2 projects that might be new for next semester, in addition to the 3 we currently have now, and one of them that might be phasing out. But yeah, so just a couple new things that might be up for next semester. And in terms of learning sessions, so this was something new that we had this semester for 2 reasons. One was mainly to fill out time, like because in fall we kind of had just the groups and we didn't feel like people were kind of filling up the time for the full hour, so we decided to do this, both to fill out the time and to help teach members how we do things and hopefully guide them more through the toy adapting process. And based on what you guys said throughout the forum, it seems like these are generally the learning sessions that you guys want to stick with. I personally agree. I think they're very good in terms of helping newer members get acclimated to the kind of work we expect them to do and hope for them to engage in. They've been very great, and I think they can be easily translated for newer members next semester. And again, this isn't set in stone. Some might be added, some might be taken away, and some potential new ones based on some feedback that we got. Some people suggested they might want to see one based on CAD or 3D printing. And whether this is kind of like in the form of a workshop or a learning session, I think it's kind of tricky to teach CAD and 3D printing because usually people need to be doing it on their own laptops or something like that in order to do that. So that would kind of take some coordination with who actually wants to learn it, how far they're willing to go. Like, are they going to download the stuff on their laptop and all that? But that's something we might be doing next semester. I put soldering on here just because that's a pretty common process that we do in our club when we're adapting toys, and it might just be something that's good to have. And then some people mentioned having a parent come in as a guest speaker. That might be tricky because we haven't had the best of luck with reaching out to parents and getting them engaged with the club. But hopefully that'll change as we kind of try to get them more involved in the toy adapting process. So who knows? Maybe one of them will want to come in and speak on their experiences with the community and stuff like that. So yeah, let's see what happens there. And then kind of one of the last things I want to go over is the structure of what meetings will look like. So nothing set in stone again. Things can look very different, but normally this semester we have updates, a learning session, and then groups. And I just kind of want to emphasize here that now it's pretty much just going to be, oh, we all come in a room, I'll give a quick PowerPoint presentation on updates, and then we're just kind of split up where one of the groups will be learning sessions. So like we'll say like, hey, to those who are new here, or maybe those who just want to learn, come over in this corner if you want to learn about 3D printing today. So we can really still help out newer members of the club and get them acclimated to what we're doing while not hindering those who already know stuff from the learning sessions. Because a lot of this will be repeated. I mean, we're just going to be kind of cycling through the same learning sessions for the newer members' sake and stuff like that, which is important because we want to keep everyone up to date. We'll have the standard groups going, as you can see listed here below, but I think it's going to be working pretty well because there could be some easy coordination between groups. If the button project group, for example, wants to test their button, they can just walk over to the toy adapting group and test it out on one of the toys we have going. We can help each other out during meetings because hopefully we'll all be in close proximity in a sense in the lab, and I think things can be working pretty well there. But I just kind of wanted to have this slide here just to remind you all that we're all going to be together again and things can hopefully run a lot more smoothly. Some other new things that I wanted to mention, I feel like I mention this all the time, but school visits. Hopefully next semester it's safe enough to go visit Glass so we can play with the kids, get in touch with Rachel again, and see what maybe we could be doing better. And I know a good amount of you joined the club specifically for the engagement with the kids. So hopefully we can satisfy all you guys out there who want to do this stuff. And yeah, that's something we wanted to do since we started the club, and hopefully we can deliver next semester, provided it's safe enough to do so. I have the child abuse training course here just to remind everyone that if you do want to visit the school, you do have to take this test. This isn't just for our club, this is for any club that deals with kids. So this is just kind of like a standard test that we have everyone take before going to interact with kids. And then working with families, I mention this all the time, to get a better idea of like specific kids that we could be adapting toys for and stuff like that. So yeah, just nothing new there really, but hopefully we'll be in touch with some parents by next semester. And all right, last thing I want to go over is what you guys can hopefully expect at our first few meetings next semester. So this is kind of what the officers and I are going to be working on over the summer, just a few new projects. I have them color coded based on how likely they are and what the difficulty will most likely be for getting them done. Nothing set in stone again. Some of this might get done, some of it might not be. But hopefully next semester, we will have all this done. But yeah, so for example, shirts. I just need to iron out that final shirt design and we can hopefully have them printed and have them ready for everyone to buy early next semester. There seemed to be some really good support for the shirt idea based on the Google Forms. So if we roll that out to everyone who's interested, we can have that available for current members and new members by the time they're joining next semester. We'll hopefully also buy some newer toys to have those new options for everyone next semester. We have a good amount of toys still now, some that have been untouched, but yeah, so just hopefully next semester we'll have some new ones in addition. That's just something quick that I wanted to mention. And then kind of a lot of this is dependent, like a lot of the orange and red stuff I have on here is dependent on how we get in touch with Rachel over at Glass. Communication with her has been pretty spotty on both ends. So we're just hoping to iron that out over the summer if she's hopefully more free by then. But what depends on that is establishing plans for a visit to Glass. Like say, hopefully next semester we'll have like, okay, September 8th or whatever, we'll be going to visit the school and we can have that date for everyone who's available. But we'll probably more realistically based on what your guys' schedules are. More details for Go Baby Go. Hopefully we'll get in touch with the family by then to take this toy. Also depends on communication with the Glass, and the same thing with getting details on connecting with families. Hopefully we'll have some specific kids in mind with who we can be adapting toys for and stuff like that. So we can just be doing proper research on specific adaptations and stuff. And then have a solid end goal for the modular low tech toy. So like, just kind of like, hey, we want to make this and this is what we need to make it. And that's hopefully where we can start next semester. It's kind of like a solid plan on where we want to go and who we're going to give it to. But yeah, hopefully this will all be things that we'll have at the beginning of next semester. We're going to certainly try for it over the summer and hopefully keep you guys updated on what will be happening. I feel like I'm saying hopefully a lot. I just don't want to jinx anything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for the presentation this week and pretty much the semester. What time is it actually? Okay, I went for a good amount of time. But yeah, did anyone, I guess, have any questions? We still have a good amount of time left, so you're welcome to ask questions or, I don't know, see what the status of anything is for the club. Anyone have anything they want to mention?
If anyone's wondering, the website is still a work in progress, but over the summer I should have more free time. So when we come back, maybe we'll have a good website too. So that's something.
That's a good point, actually. I totally forgot about the website. Yeah, officers, if I mention anything, by all means, bring up what you wanted to bring up. But yeah, I mean, if no one has any questions, you're welcome to stick around, or you're free to go, because I think that's pretty much it. We just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what you can hope for next semester and get you guys excited for what we have planned. Hopefully we can start off on a good note next semester. But yeah, you guys are free to go unless you have any questions. Thanks guys for a great semester.
Thank you.